All right, Bulls fans, welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm your host here, Haize. You can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. On today's episode, we'll be previewing it's free agent day. Free agency opens today at 6 p.m. And so we're going to dive into all the latest news and rumors surrounding the Chicago Bulls and who and what they may be interested in once free agency opens. We'll get into all that and more on today's Chicago Bulls Central.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
All right, Bulls fans. So we got a couple of updates, some promising, some concerning for the Chicago Bulls. And one of the things that I've been talking about the last couple of episodes is asking. I even had a poll up on the channel, which I'll check the results of that by the time we end in this conversation. But will the Bulls pay the luxury tax? Will the Bulls actually go into the luxury tax? As we've all known, once they signed Zach LaVine to this extension, which is all reported by Casey Johnson today, that Zach LaVine is even telling people around him that he will be re-signing with the Chicago Bulls. So everything's pointing to that. Once that happens, using the MLE, even if they use the trade player exception, even if, things like that, the Bulls were going to be very close to the luxury tax, if not paying the luxury tax completely. And in that poll that I asked you guys on the YouTube channel, for those that are listening on the podcast side, I asked, will the Chicago Bulls go into the luxury tax this season? We had 1,000 votes, a little over 1,000 votes, and 76% of the people who responded to that said yes. 24% responded no. And unfortunately, it seems like, according to Daniel Greenberg, as well as some other sources, that the Bulls will not be going into the luxury tax this season. So what it looks like is that they're going to be using part of that mid-level exception rather than using the full mid-level exception to kind of avoid hard capping themselves and the luxury tax, things like that. So everything kind of points to the Bulls are not going to be going into the luxury tax. Now, how's that going to affect the free agency? Well, we're already seeing one of the results of that. Joe Cowley says that Mo Bamba wants to sign with the Chicago Bulls, but the Bulls aren't willing to pay him what he wants. Now, could he be wanting more than the mid-level exception? Absolutely. There's absolutely a chance of that. And I am combining a couple of different, rumors and things that came out to come up with this. But with that being said, looking at what happens, if the Bulls aren't willing to use that full mid-level exception, it's really going to strap them on what type of free agents they can sign. Now, Isaiah Hartenstein, does he want that full $10 million? I think I saw something before that he's aiming around the $8 to $9 million range. So there's absolutely a chance that can fit underneath that full mid-level exception, but still, that's pretty damn close to it. So, we're going to be watching to see what the Bulls do, because if the Bulls, their unwillingness to pay the luxury tax, if that, stops them from being able to sign some of the bigger free agents out there that could definitely help the team, there are going to be a lot of angry Bulls fans out there. A lot of angry Bulls fans out there. So Jake L. Fisher is the one that reported that $8 million is around the number that Isaiah Hartenstein is looking for. So, hey, maybe that's something that fits within the Bulls. He's kind of my number one right now. So that's it's going to be really interesting to see what the Chicago Bulls do once free agency opens. Once that Zach LaVine contract is signed. Now, they can come to agreements, right? But we can't officially sign deals until the 6th. So you're just going to be hearing a lot of coming to terms on things before those deals are actually signed. Now, some of the other rumors that we're getting. This is from Casey Johnson. He released an article on NBCSports.com. First up, Gallinari. Gallinari appears to be a target for the Chicago Bulls, that they are interested in Gallinari. He's played with Billy Donovan before, so he understands the system. A lot of teams are showing interest in Gallinari as well. But if a deal were to happen, the Chicago Bulls are highly interested in that. Now, Gallinari, if he is released, between $7 to $8 million a year, could they do a Kobe White for Gallinari type trade? We'll see. But he's expected to be waived by the San Antonio Spurs, and so once that does happen, can the Bulls sign him in free agency? Now, again, that would be eaten into their mid-level exception, and that still would be without addressing the big situation for the Chicago Bulls. But seems like that's going to be a target as well. There are also some rumors going around. Casey Johnson also mentions this. Andre Drummond may be a target for the Chicago Bulls, but if it were to happen, it would be only at the veteran minimum salary. So because of that, maybe they are willing to spend a little bit more money on like a Gallinari player and bring in an Andre Drummond at the veteran minimum. So But hearing that Mo Bamba actually does want to sign with the Chicago Bulls, but they're just not offering the money, it's gonna raise a lot of questions there. As well, Casey Johnson also states that anything else surrounding any Rudy Gobert trade to the Chicago Bulls is just noise. He says that it's overstated, so that we can go ahead and shut that down. As I've been saying as well, don't expect any big trades from the Chicago Bulls. And it seems like now, because the San Antonio Spurs are maybe going into complete sell mode, the Jakob Poeltl may be also an option for the Chicago Bulls. Now, one of the things that I do want to end the show on and talking about, and this is coming out from multiple sources. Casey Johnson mentions this. Will Gottlieb also mentions this. There's a lot of people who are saying this. Everything right now, Joe Cowley also mentions this, that everything is pointing towards Coby White being on the Chicago Bulls roster next season. Now, I know this is going to be disappointing for a lot of Chicago Bulls fans, but it seems like they are still shopping him around, but they have not gotten anything, any offers according to what they want to get back for Coby White. So because of that, they are completely ready to roll the dice, have Coby be on the roster this season, let the market set the value for him possibly next offseason. And, if that does happen, if they go throughout this whole season and pass another trade deadline without trading Coby White, they're opening themselves up to completely losing Coby for absolutely nothing. But it seems like the Bulls aren't just going to trade him away for anything either. So Bulls are rolling the dice right now when it comes to Coby White. It seems like he's going to be on that roster to start the season unless something comes to fruition over the next couple of days. And once free agency starts, a lot of things could change as well. But that's where everything sits right now. All the rumors about players out there. Isaiah Hartenstein, while mentioned by some as a Bulls target, isn't mentioned by a lot of outlets. Mo Bamba is a highly interested target for the Chicago Bulls. And there also is some talk that the Bulls may be also interested in Victor Oladipo. Now, that is a name that I did not expect to hear. You guys know I've said that I didn't think the Bulls were really going to do anything else on the wing, but hey, I may be completely wrong with that. Now, if that does happen, I would expect the Oladipo deal to take quite a bit of money, so I don't know if they're going to spend that type of money. And I can personally only see a Victor Oladipo deal going down if a Coby White trade is either not part of it, but is also coming down the pipeline as well. But hey, maybe I'm wrong with that as well. We'll see what goes on. As of right now, opening day, as free agency prepares to open in just a few hours, we're about 8 hours away from free agency officially opening up. We'll start getting a lot of more solid news to figure out what's going on, but it's very interesting right now around free agency, around the NBA as a whole. You're going to start seeing a lot. I don't know how many extra videos I'm going to drop. I may wait to recap everything and do a live stream later today, but we'll see. If any type of big news comes out that affects the Chicago Bulls, affects any targets, I'll definitely be doing videos on that, but we'll see. Let me know down below. What do you guys think? How now concerned does it make you for how active the Chicago Bulls are going to be, considering we are seeing teams around the NBA and in our own conference being very aggressive with free agency already before it officially opens? The Chicago Bulls seem like they are going to be taking a pretty calm, methodological approach. Is that even a word? Did I just make up a word? I probably did. But they're going to take methodical. Methodical is the word. They're going to be taking a methodical approach to free agency and really try to maybe avoid that luxury tax. And if that causes them to miss out on some free agents, it seems like they're more than willing to do that. Now, again, one of the things that suck as I was preparing to close the show is that we did get an interview from Michael Reinsdorf last year, in which Michael Reinsdorf basically said that they are open to paying the tax. He kind of even said that it's kind of up to the front office to decide what they're going to do. Listen, if the Bulls are this active in trying to avoid the luxury tax by not using their trade player exception, not using the full mid-level exception, veteran minimum deals, like things like that, I got to call bullshit on that whole interview, that whole everything. I got to call complete bullshit on everything that Michael Reinsdorf said. Now, I'm going to try to wait. Petty Roosevelt's not going to come out quite yet. I'm going to try to allow this process to go through and we see what the Bulls do first. But be prepared for a Petty Roosevelt episode if this does happen, depending on what other moves the Bulls do make. So we'll see what happens with that. Thank you for tuning in to Chicago Bulls Central. Make sure you're following the show at Bulls Central Pod. You can also send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text and or voicemail, the number to do so is 773-270-2799. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. Like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.